Every agent knows that your sphere of influence is going to always be your bread and butter. Anytime you're down, anytime you just need a quick transaction, what do? You just engage your sphere of influence. Someone in there is going to be buying, someone in there is going to be selling. They're already your friends. It's just an easy transaction. But the question is, what if you don't have any sphere of influence that you can then reactivate, try to tap into, try to generate those transactions? What then? In this video, I'm going to be showing you 4 ways of generating transactions quick. They're not easy, but they are simple, even if you have 0 sphere of influence to tap into. The first 2 strategies are totally cold outreach. So bear with me. They're a little bit painful to go through if you don't like rejection, but they definitely work. The first one is cold calling, but 3 specific types of cold calling. First off, calling FSBOs, for sale by owners. Second off is calling expired, and third is calling expired FSBOs. Let me just break each of these down very quickly. Calling FSBOs is obviously one of the most timeless strategies for realtors. It always works, and there's a reason for that, because FSBOs will get less for their home if they're selling it by themselves. Maybe they don't know that yet, but the idea is to build a connection with them, build a relationship with them, continue to maintain that relationship so that once they see that they're having a hard time doing it, selling it by themselves for the price that they actually want, they'll call the only person that's actually helped them without just blatantly asking for their business. So I'm going to link to a video that I made just on how to cold call FSBOs. Make sure to go and check out that video. Calling expireds, I specifically like to cold call expireds. I am particularly prefer the strategy of calling expired listings that expired over, let's say, 6 months ago, even a year ago. Obviously, depending on what the market is now versus what it was, your levels of success can differ. However, when you target expired listings from a little while ago, they're much less saturated and there's a lot less people trying to engage those listings, and they're generally speaking a lot easier to actually maintain and convert. And then finally is expired FSBOs. Now, the interesting thing is FSBOs, generally speaking, while they're active, show on the MLS, right? Obviously, expireds also will show on the MLS if they've been listed by an agent. However, expired FSBO listings are much less prevalent. It's much harder for agents to find expired FSBOs, which means that if you can find a for sale by owner that tried to sell it themselves, but then they couldn't do it or they didn't manage to, or whatever happened, if they decide to take it off the market, much less people are going to know about that than you. So if you maintain a relationship, you keep track of it, you follow up with them, the second you realize that they go off the market, you now realize that there's somebody who is or was looking to sell their home that nobody else really knows about. So this is really a golden ticket. So find those FSBOs, maintain those relationships, and then when or if they expire, double down on your efforts and endeavors and really try to close those. The second thing is door knocking. Nothing really too complicated about this. Just knock on doors around your area. Tell them you're a local agent. You live just around the corner. Generally, if people think that you're a neighbor, they're going to be a lot friendlier to you. So there's going to be a lot less rejection and hostility if you do let them know that you're a local. Somebody I definitely suggest you watch who has great door knocking techniques is Brian Casella. Strategy number 3 is a really creative one, and that is to reach out to the most successful solo agents in your area. Ask to work with their overflow buyers for a commission. The reason I love this strategy is as follows. Let's say you're working with a team leader. If you were to reach out to a team leader and ask them if they have any overflow buyers, where do you think those buyers are going? Obviously, they're going to the agents on their team. However, if you're working with a solo agent, a successful solo agent, the only option that they really have of offloading their overflow buyers is either work themselves to the bone and really just try to go crazy killing themselves, trying to manage every single buyer, which for the successful solo agents, they're getting a lot of buyers because even as the market slows down, the successful agents actually get busier. But the second interesting thing is they're usually forced, if they do have an overflow, to refer those out, which means that they're only going to be getting about 25% of the final commission check, just that referral fee. But if you came along and you said, I'll work your leads for you for 50%, they have an overflow of buyers. It's possible that some of these successful solo agents would say, I would work them myself. But now that you're offering them a 50% opt-out, where they're not going to have to give away 75% of their transaction, just 50% of it, it might actually be worth it for them to give you more transactions than they were originally willing to give up in the first place. So don't target team leaders, target successful solo agents. Offer them a really enticing commission split for you to take care of their buyers entirely from start to finish. As long as you do a good job a few times, those successful solo agents will continue to refer their buyers to you, which means that as long as you're finding the right successful solo agents, your pipeline will never be empty. And then finally, if you have no sphere of influence, I highly recommend you run a webinar. This could be a first-time homebuyer webinar, a purchase your first investment property webinar. As long as you get together the slides that you're going to actually be running through the presentation, you get together the email confirmation, the email follow-up afterwards, the invites. If you take care of all of the promo and the actual webinar itself, you can then go over to a lender and say, if you'd like to sponsor the ad spend for this webinar, I would like to bring you on board as the exclusive lender for this webinar, which means every single person that comes to the webinar, I'll be pushing your information forward, promoting you, endorsing you as the go-to mortgage agent lender in the market. So that way it's a really great deal for the actual lender because they don't have to worry about how they're going to run the webinar, what they're going to say in the webinar. You're going to take care of all of that. All that they have to do is actually sponsor the webinar itself. So even if you have no money, no sphere of influence, this is a great way to actually build your database on somebody else's dime. As long as you go over to the lender with the right value up front and you tell them, I'm going to take care of the promotion, I'm going to take care of the actual webinar, all you need to do is sponsor the actual ad spend itself. That is a deal that's too good to be true for the lender, and they will oftentimes take you up on this for the sake of about $300 to $500 promotion, $300 to $500 ad spend. Why wouldn't they? So there you have it, guys. Even if you're in a brand new market, you don't know anybody there, no sphere of influence, it doesn't matter. There's never been a better time to build your database, get in front of more and more people using more creative ways. So if you're not afraid of rejection, you're not afraid of getting your hands dirty a little bit, then you're going to see great, great success. Now, remember, none of these strategies that I just said to you, that I just told you, are easy, but they're all really simple. So I hope you guys get to it, work really hard. Let me know in the comments how it goes. I look forward to seeing your success moving forward. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.